Hi, I'm Elizabeth. This practice will include gentle movement, pranayama, and meditation to support the tenderness and resilience of the heart. We'll start out seated today, and the props that I'll be using include a yoga mat. I have a folded blanket that I'm sitting on, and I have a couple of yoga blocks and a yoga strap. But you don't need any of these things to practice. You can adapt based on what you have in the room that you're in. So for example, instead of a yoga strap, you might use a scarf or a belt or even a long towel that's rolled up. Instead of yoga blocks, you might have a few pillows that are supportive. And you can do this practice sitting on the ground, on the edge of a couch or a bed. You could even do it seated in a chair. And if there's anything that I'm guiding throughout this practice that isn't comfortable in your body or is causing pain, that's a sign, a cue from your body to change something about what you're doing. So please change something about what you're doing if it's not comfortable. You shouldn't feel discomfort or pain during this practice. And so, for example, if we're in the midst of a breathing practice and it doesn't feel right in your body, that's a sign to come back to your regular breathing. Okay, let's get started. Make any adjustments to the way that you're sitting for comfort. Maybe your hands are resting on your legs, palms face down. And starting to soften your gaze. Gazing toward the ground a few feet in front of you. And if it feels right, you might start to close your eyes. Whether your gaze is soft or your eyes are closed, can you use your other senses to become aware of your surroundings? Noticing the temperature of the air in the room, how it feels on your skin. Noticing any sounds, maybe background sounds that are coming and going, and also the sound of my voice. Taking note of any scent in the air or any lingering taste in your mouth. And beginning to turn your attention inward. Noticing how you're feeling in this moment. And maybe there's a word or a phrase that comes to mind as you notice how you're feeling, but perhaps it's just a feeling without a label or words attached to it. Perhaps placing one hand over your heart. Noticing the warmth and the gentle weight of your hand. As you begin to tune in to the rhythm of your breathing. Without a need to change or fix anything about how you're breathing, but simply witnessing the breath as it flows in and flows out. Being here with yourself in this moment. Starting to release your hand back down to rest on your leg. Inviting any sense of lengthening in the spine. And perhaps a sense of ease in the shoulders and in the jaw. And in the eyelids. And if you'd like, set an intention for today's practice. Whether it's a word or phrase of encouragement toward yourself, or if it's simply a felt sense in the body, a sense that you're present here in this moment. And with your intention set, perhaps starting to open the eyes or raise your gaze. And if you're using a strap or a scarf, you might take that in your hands, bringing it out in front of you and holding on to the strap or scarf so that the hands are about shoulder width distance apart. And as you sit tall here, taking a breath in and starting to reach the hands and arms up overhead. And on your next breath out, can you start to bend to the right? Inviting a sense of lengthening in the left side of your body as you continue to breathe here. Perhaps on your next breath in, starting to reach the hands and arms up. And as you breathe out, this time bending to the left. Inviting a sense of length in the right side of the body as you continue to breathe. And on a breath in, starting to rise, reaching hands and arms up. And this time as you breathe out, can you start to turn and twist the upper body to the right any amount? And as you begin to breathe in, coming back to center. Breathing out and switching sides, turning to the left. Breathing in, coming back to center. Continuing at the pace of your breath. And so allowing your breath to guide the movement here. With each exhale, twisting, turning to one side. And with each inhale, returning to center. And perhaps continuing for another round or two until you feel even on both sides. And when you feel a sense of completion, coming back to center, taking a breath in, reaching the arms a little bit higher. And as you breathe out, can you slowly lower your hands and arms down in front of you? Bringing the strap behind you. Same setup for the hands. So the hands will be about shoulder width distance apart, having your hands and your arms close to you. And sitting tall here. Taking a breath in. And as you start to breathe out, can you press the strap away from you? And as you breathe in, bringing the strap closer to you. Continuing at your own pace. As you breathe out, pressing the strap away from you. And as you breathe in, bringing the strap closer to you. Perhaps another round on the next breath out. Can you press the strap away from you and pause here, gazing ahead or perhaps upward as you continue to breathe. Moving through another round of breath. And then starting to bring the strap closer to you, and then releasing it to the side. Setting your strap off to the side. You might bring a few blocks or a few pillows out in front of you, so that if you were to fold forward, you could potentially rest your forehead on your setup of blocks or pillows. And if you don't have any, that's just fine. So we'll set up in a seated version of mountain pose. Perhaps legs are crossed, and bringing the arms and hands out to the sides with the palms of the hands facing forward. And as you sit tall here, and when you receive the next breath in, can you start to reach the hands and arms up overhead? And as you breathe out, sweeping the hands down to the ground in front of you, folding forward. Maybe your forehead rests on your blocks or pillows. And on a breath in, starting to lift your head, rising halfway. And as you breathe out, folding forward. As you start to breathe in, begin to rise, reaching the hands and arms up. And as you breathe out, returning to mountain. Breathing in, reaching the arms up. And as you breathe out, folding forward. Breathing in and lifting halfway. Breathing out, folding forward. And as you start to breathe in, begin to rise, reaching the hands and arms up. And as you breathe out, coming back to our seated version of mountain pose. Moving through another round here, breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, folding forward. As you breathe in, start to rise halfway. And as you breathe out, folding forward. As you begin to breathe in, start to rise, reaching the hands and arms up. And as you breathe out, coming back to mountain. Releasing the hands and setting your blocks or pillows off to the side. Taking a moment here to move in any way that feels right. That might mean shrugging or rolling the shoulders. You might try shrugging the shoulders up toward the ears and then letting the shoulders lower. Or maybe rolling the shoulders up and back a few times. Or perhaps a combination of both. And when you're ready, bringing the shoulders back to rest. As you breathe in, inviting the spine to lengthen here, any amount. And as you start to breathe out, can you tilt your head to the left? Inviting your left ear toward the left shoulder. And for more of a stretch, you might release your right hand to the ground so that fingertips of the right hand are touching the ground or the seat of your chair or the seat of your couch. Another option could be placing your left hand on your head. And this might change the stretch in the right side of the neck. Connecting with the rhythm of your breath here. And begin to bring the left hand to the left side of the face and gently bring your head back to center. Hands coming to the legs and maybe turning your head a few times. Noticing if one side of the neck feels very different than the other side. Maybe it does. And we'll switch sides for the sake of being even. Beginning by lengthening the spine as you receive a breath in. And as you breathe out this time, tilting your head to the right. Option to stay here with hands on the legs, maybe bringing the left hand down to touch the ground or the seat of the chair that you're in. Another option could involve bringing your right hand on top of your head. Connecting with the rhythm of the breath here. And begin to bring your right hand to the right side of your face and gently bringing your head back to center. Returning the hands to the legs, palms of the hands face down on the legs. And as you receive a breath in, again lengthening the spine here any amount. And as you start to breathe out, can you begin to tip forward with the upper body and start to circle the upper body in one direction. Moving in a way that feels right to you. And so that might be moving very slowly, especially in certain places. Maybe that means very large circles or very small circles. And beginning to switch directions here. Eventually coming back to center. Taking a breath in here. And as you start to breathe out, can you begin to turn the upper body to the right? Left hand might rest on the right leg. Perhaps the right hand touching the ground behind you or the seat of your chair. And maybe turning just your head more to the right, looking toward the back or the corner of the room that you're in. And is it possible to invite a sense of ease in the shoulders here and in the jaw? Receiving another breath in here. And as you breathe out, returning to center. Breathing in. And this time as you breathe out, turning to the left. Maybe turning just your head more to the left. Receiving another breath in here. And as you breathe out, returning to center. Coming into table, if you'd like. So coming to hands and knees, and again, this can be done on the floor, it can be done on a bed. Bringing the hands and the knees apart a comfortable distance, spreading the fingers wide. Receiving a breath in here. And as you start to breathe out, can you begin to arch your back into cat? And as you breathe in, moving into cow, letting your belly sink toward the ground, gazing forward or upward. And as you breathe out, arching to cat, tucking your chin toward your chest. And as you breathe in, returning to cow. Continuing at a pace that's right for you. And so maybe moving through a few more rounds, letting your breath guide the movement here so that with each exhale, you're arching the back into cat. And with each inhale, you're letting the belly sink toward the ground, creating a U shape with your back as you move into cow. And perhaps a few more rounds of cat and cow. And then as you're ready, coming back to table, moving into puppy pose. So turning the toes under and beginning to walk the hands forward. You might bend the elbows here as you lower elbows toward the ground and your forehead toward the ground as well. Pausing here in puppy. And if it's possible, allow your hands and arms and your forehead to rest heavy on the ground. It might be useful to place a pillow or a block under your forehead. Pausing here for a few more rounds of breath. Keeping the hips high here in puppy. And as you feel ready, perhaps on a breath in, starting to raise your head off of the ground, returning to table. And take a moment here, perhaps even pausing the video, to move in any way that feels right, moving through any other shapes or practices that would allow your movement practice to feel complete for now. And then we're going to move into our meditation. So think about how you'd like to set up for meditation, preferably seated or lying down instead of standing for this one. And I'll offer a setup. You might use some pillows. I happen to have a bolster and another blanket here. If I were setting up in a reclined position, lying down on my mat for this meditation, I would put a bolster under my knees, a blanket under my head, and I would have at least another blanket to cover up. And so you might lie on your back with your legs supported in some way, with your head supported in some way, and perhaps covering up with a blanket. And if you're warm and you don't want to cover up your whole body, it can be really useful to just have a blanket over the torso, or perhaps even just over the belly. Maybe in this way, or even unfold it a bit. And so take some time getting set up for meditation. And you can even hit pause and come back and press play when you're ready. Take a moment to adjust and settle. Soften your gaze or allow your eyes to close. And again, allow your other senses to observe your surroundings. Sounds, scent, taste, and touch. Perhaps noticing the touch of clothing on your skin. And consider what brought you here to this practice. And begin to turn your attention inward, observing the breath. If it's possible, can you welcome each breath in like you would a dear friend? A dear friend who you can simply be you around. Recall or imagine a time when your heart felt or feels completely at ease. Use your senses to fill in the details. Maybe it's walking along a beach or laughing so much. What does it look like? Sound like? Taste like? Or smell like? At a time when your heart feels completely at ease. And perhaps who else is there when your heart feels completely at ease? Taking your time with this. And as you experience this, can you connect with a sense of ease in your body? Perhaps your heart feels warm, expansive, light. Maybe there's a sense of how this feeling in the heart affects all around it. Like sunlight shining on the rest of the body, nourishing the cells. The heart nourishing all that it comes into contact with its strength and love and resilience. Consider your heart's greatest wish. And out of everything your heart could ask for, what does it want the most? Ask your heart and see if a response gently whispers back or softly unfolds as a felt sense. Maybe your heart longs for love, to give and receive unlimited love. Love that is safe, nurturing, expansive. Or perhaps your heart longs for something else. Whatever it is, imagine that your heart's greatest wish has come true in this moment. It's already here. Notice what that feels like in the body. If it feels easy, exciting. Noticing if there's any resistance. And if you'd like, linger here. Or follow along with me as I guide your attention from place to place in the body, checking in with sensations that are present. First, bringing your awareness to the upper chest. And the upper back. To the back of the neck, the sides and front of the neck. Notice sensation in the mouth. The jaw. And the left eye and the area around it. The right eye and the area around it. And the top of the head. The sides of the head. The back of the head, noticing sensation that's present here. Guide your attention to your left shoulder. Left arm. Left hand and fingers. Move your awareness to the right shoulder. Right arm. Right hand and fingers. Bringing your awareness to the mid-back and the lower back. And begin to notice sensation in the belly. The left hip. Left leg. Left foot. Noticing sensation in the right hip. Right leg. And right foot. And if it's possible, noticing sensation in the entire left side of the body. Moving your attention to sensation in the entire right side of the body. Noticing the entire front of the body. And then the entire back of the body. Is it possible to notice the entire body all at the same time, inside and out? Begin to guide your attention to the area of the heart, the upper chest, Notice how with each inhale, this place expands. Notice how with each exhale, this place in the body softens. Welcoming each breath in, gently releasing each breath out. Continuing here with this practice as long as you'd like. You might observe any feelings that are present in this moment. Perhaps if you're feeling warm or comfortable or anything else. And is it possible to observe these feelings with curiosity? And perhaps noticing any emotions that might be present in this moment, or any that are bubbling to the surface of your attention. And again, observe whatever's here with a sense of curiosity rather than judgment. Remembering your heart's greatest wish and what it feels like when your heart's greatest wish is true in this very moment. There's no striving or need to do anything to make it happen. It's here. It's already here. Is there any sense of resistance to believing this is true? And if so, how and where do you feel this in the body? Can you consider that maybe it's possible for this to be easy, to believe that your heart's greatest wish is true? And when it's easy, what does easy feel like in the body? Perhaps beginning to connect with any sense of well-being in the body, a sense that everything's okay. Maybe even connecting with a glimmer of joy present in the body. And it's as if this well-being or this sense that everything's okay washes over you. Bask in this well-being for a few moments. Staying here as long as you like. Or perhaps stepping into a sense of simply being. When you're ready, begin to recall the journey you've just taken. And remember what it feels like when your heart is at ease. When you connect with a sense of well-being in the body. When you connect with your heart, exploring its greatest wish. And know that these things, you can connect with them again and again. They're always here, always available. And begin to notice the support of the surface that you're resting on. And perhaps inviting a sense of beginning to wake up from this rest. Maybe noticing that your personality is starting to come back online. And begin to move in any way that feels right. Perhaps wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe reaching your arms overhead. And then as you're ready, starting to open your eyes. Taking your time to come back up to seated if you aren't already. And I thank you so much for joining me for this practice. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which means peace, peace, peace.